ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्री श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ इच्छे को साई करे चरण वंदन यहाँ होते विघ्ननाश अविष्ट पूरन। गुरु गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। So yesterday we were discussing about Srila Rupa Goswami, his life story, little bit of overview on his life, and you know, he mentioned there was a very amazing thing we have learned yesterday. What is required is that the sadhaka who wants to attain a particle of the bliss of the service that is intrinsic to Unnat Ujjwal Bhakti Ras, the most excellent, radiant rasa of conjugal love that Srila Rupa Goswami longs for should become free from ulterior desire, yani anya vilashita shunya, and he should be endeavoring constantly with a genuine kindness towards Krishna, Anukula Krishna Anu Shilana Bhaktmai, should cultivate the most exalted devotion, Uttam Bhakti, in the company of affectionate, like minded devotees. So, what is Uttam Bhakti? There's a very nice lecture by Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. He was like, the sannyas disciple of Srila Prabhupada. The original form of Bhagwan descended during the age of quarrel and hypocrisy as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver all of the living entities. Sri Rupa Goswami, who is Priya Swarup, the very embodiment of everything dear to him, and who is foremost among those who establish the deepest wishes of his heart, has revealed the symptoms of Uttam Bhakti, the utmost culmination of devotional service to Krishna. Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmanunavritam Anukulen Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. You know, in the mathematics, we are given the formulas. You put this formula and you can solve the question. Sometimes, you know, we get a formula and sometimes they say ki solve the formula. Means we have to elaborately solve. Suppose A plus B and then A plus B. Solve this formula. What is A plus B into A plus B? When we solve it, it becomes A square plus B square plus 2AB. Right? And suppose somebody has given you the value of A, you can easily take out using this formula, you can easily take out the value of B, right? And suppose you have the value of B, you can easily take out the value of A. The formulas are given in our lives to understand. Like one time, I was very naughty in my mathematics class. I was naughty anyways. I used to be very naughty in the class. So one time, one mathematics teacher, was a new teacher in the 11th grade, and he said, "Hey," he was very frustrated with me. And then at the end of the class, he wanted to punish me. So he said, "Hey, you, Rohit, you tell me, A plus B plus C ka whole square. What is it?" So A square plus B square plus C square plus 2AB plus 2BC plus 2CA plus 3ABC, something like this. Oh, he was so happy. He became my fan after that. And after, whenever I used to do any kind of naughty thing in the class, he used to laugh. He used to appreciate and he used to make, fun of other students if they are trying to, bring me in front of the teacher. So that particular teacher, just wait, huh? Wait a minute. Gidari, 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 Gidari. Come, come. So the formulas are very important and very essential. When we get to know a little bit about the formula, it becomes very easy for us to solve any equation. So for the bhakti, the formula is this. If anybody say how to attain pure bhakti or uttama bhakti, see bhakti has so many stages, you know, and some people they have like they said, hey, I am just chanting my rounds. I know how I finish my 16 rounds, and that's it. Somebody say, Prabhu, I'm every day going for Mangla Aarti. For me, that is bhakti. Somebody say, Prabhu, I'm doing book distribution, and I know in Golok Vrindavan also I'll be doing the book distribution. So I'm happy. So everybody they have their own calculations and they all have their own what do you call uh, explanations or excuses to the nature, according to the nature, according to circumstances, or whatever XYZ it could be. But when you talk about Uttam Bhakti, when you're talking about the highest Bhakti, then this is the formula. Anya Vilashda Shunyam means Anya, any desire Shunyam. Any desire other than serving the Lord, other than worshipping the Lord, other than associating with the Lord, Shunyam. After that, whatever is written, that is also okay. Jnana karma navitam, means knowledge, fruitive activities, anavitam, not eclipsed. Anukulena Krishnanu, through genuine kindness to him, Krishnanu Shilanam, perpetual Shilanam, ardent endeavor, Bhakti Uttama, the utmost culmination of Bhakti. Means being free from all material desires and everything, right? When I'm only performing devotional service, keeping no desires in my heart other than serving the Lord. So everything is there in the formula. But again, the key word of this formula is Anya Vilashita Shunyam. That's the key word. So we need to understand. जैसे कि होता है ना होता है ना there's another shloka, very beautiful shloka. Rakshati imam vishwaso. Shanagati, that shloka, Drumit.
Yes, Prabhu.
Shloka, huh?
तनु
You don't know?
तनुकूलस्य संकल्प
Anukulasya sankalpa, Pratikulasya
प्रतिकूलस्य
varjanam,
वर्जनम रक्षति
Rakshati
इति
imam
विश्वास
vishwaso.
गोपत्रवे वर्णनम तथा.
हाँ. So then, इसमें भी they say कि like all the 5 stages are okay. But the first stage is Anukulena Sankalpa. If we only follow the first line or the first word, first principle, Anukulena Sankalpa. That's it. Only Anukulena Sankalpa. That's it. प्रतिकूल से अपने आप ही वर्जनम हो जाएगा फिर अपने आप ही भगवान पे डिपेंडेबिलिटी देयर विल बी अ डिपेंडेबिलिटी ऑन द लॉर्ड द दक्षिणी मम विश्वासो नो मैटर व्हाट कृष्णा इज गोइंग टू प्रोटेक्ट मी ठीक है दैट विल ऑटोमेटिकली कम so anyways the perpetual ardent endeavorment exclusively for Shri Krishna and performed out of genuine kindness to him when neither prone to any selfish ulterior desires nor eclipsed by impersonal knowledge, fruitive work, or any other occupation, is known as Uttama Bhakti. The sadhaka who carefully reflects upon and studies this verse under the guidance and care of the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami will know the meaning of bhakti with lucid clarity, and indeed he will attain realization of bhakti. The perfect definition, the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's through Bhagavan Swayam, while all other form of Godhead are expansion, Krishna is personally the original form of Godhead, is accepted as a definition statement in any deliberation or Sambandha Tattva or existential relationship. Similarly, the words At hand, the definition of Uttama Bhakti that we are now considering must be accepted as a defining statement in relation to Abhideya Tattva, the means to the ultimate end, namely Krishna Prema. So it is said, Sir Chaniyame Niyama Karini. The factual definition of something is the one that exceeds all others in authority and is thus regarded as the most prominent. Fruitive workers, speculative philosophers, mystic those who offer the results of their work to God, sense enjoyers, whimsical religionists, and the members of various cults who propagate their own conceptions of bhakti. So this verse, from which the symptoms of bhakti to Krishna can be derived, has utterly subverted their opinions, understandings, and inferences by providing these to be inconsistent, flawed, and greatly misled. Same thing which I said. Fruitive workers, speculative philosophers, mystics those who offers the result of their work to God. Like, one time, uh, again, a very interesting thing. One time, somebody quoted a very senior Vaishnava. He said, you know what? Whenever there used to be Ekadashi Vrata at the time of Paran, that person used to say, let me give the results of my Ekadashi to my Guru. I got very inspired and I was like, wow, perfect. Such a guru and such a shishya. Perfect. Very good example. Was very impressed and very happy after I heard it. Well, then what happened? I went to Mukundata Prabhu. He's the one who actually, kills all the wrong conceptions we usually develop in our mind. So here I went to him and he said, I went to him and I said, Prabhuji, he said this way, that I want to give the benefit of the entire, fasting of mind to Srila Prabhupada. I said, okay. He laughed. And then he said, he moved his garden left and right. He said, people, they just live with their misconceptions. So what do you mean by that, Prabhuji? He said, first of all, his guru does not need his Ekadashi results. He was already exalted and already, he's a Mahabhagavat, attained already perfection in his life. This guy himself, he wants the benefit of all the Ekadashis. And second thing, we anyways don't follow Ekadashi to get any benefits. We follow Ekadashi because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted us to follow Ekadashi. Finish. So then giving results to somebody of your vratas or anything. So these things are fruitive. So everybody is mental speculative sometimes. So intrinsic symptoms and the boundary symptoms, very different, very, very guillem topic to understand. Perpetual ardent endeavorment exclusively for Sri Krishna and performed out of genuine kindness to him. When neither prone to any selfish ulterior desires nor eclipsed by impersonal knowledge, fruitive work, or any other occupation is known as Uttama Bhakti. The symptoms described in the second half of the verse Anukulen Krishnanu Shiranam directly comprise Bhakti's own form. Hence, these symptoms are called the Surupa Lakshan of Bhakti. You see, if you every day walk for 10 kilometers, you'll become slim and trim. So, what do you have to do? We have to walk for 10 kilometers every day, right? And what would be the Surupa Lakshan of those endeavors? Will become slim, right? I know, but I don't know how to do that. So the symptoms described in the first half of this verse, Anya Vilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam, demarcate, demarcate the boundaries of bhakti. Hence, these symptoms are called the Tathastha Lakshan of bhakti. The literal meaning of the word Surup, Tathastha, and Lakshana are as follows. Swa means own or intrinsic, Rupa means form, and Tat means boundary. Tathastha means situated on. So Lakshana means symptoms. A technical analysis of interpreting the verb root shall. There is no verb in this verse, but the verb root shall means the shield within the noun of Anushilanam is perfectly obvious. The word Anushilanam is formed by qualifying the verb root shil with the prefix anu. So Sanskrit grammar, there are 10 ways to interpret a verb, technically called ganas. Within some of the ganas headed by the gun called churgana and verb root shil is interpreted as repeated or permanent exercise or discipline. Abhyasa, anya vilashita, vilas, abhyasa, shila. So, by this interpretation, shil is conceived of as having progress or engagement, pravriti, as its essential characteristics. In contrast, within the other ganas headed by the gun called bhavagan, the same verb root shil is interpreted. क्या बोला? It's interpreted as profound stillness or concentration of thought or intent contemplation of a particular object. Samaj. By this interpretation, Sheel is conceived of as having withdrawal or disengagement as it is essential characteristics. So active efforts and emotional state of being. The expression of bhakti is accomplished both through the active efforts, cheshta, and emotional state of being, bhava. So the verb root shila accounts for both of these states. Shila is Hmm. Okay, I'm back. Very well. Yes. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. You see the active efforts and the emotional state of being, the expression of bhakti is accomplished both through the active efforts and the emotional state of being. The verb root sheel account for both of these features of bhakti. So active engagement and active disengagement. Continuing on the active features itself of Anushilana for the sake of Sri Krishna is expressed through one's body, one's mind, and one's word. Each of these methods of expression is always seen in the two form of engagement, pravritti roop and nivritti roop. So engaging in the 9 prominent limbs of bhakti, which constitute its very form through one's body, mind, and the word is Krishna Nushilanam in the form of an active engagement. pravritti atmak cheshta. On the other hand, resolu- uh, uh, resol- resolutely abstraining from offending Krishna's holy name, the process of serving Krishna's Krishnanushilanam is the form of the active disengagement, that is Nivritti Atmak Cheshta. So perpetual and without obstruction. So the prefix anu can be used to mean following: accompanying repeatedly or perpetually. In Hari Namamrita Vyakarana, Jiva Goswami comments on the use of the prefix anu in the context of Krishna Pravachaniya. Lakshana vip se ittam भूतेष्वशुभिर् भागे परिप्रति अनुरेषु सहार्थे च हिनेतुपश्च कथया. The characteristics that are repeated in each of the prefix pari, prati, and part of avi towards and severally or one after another are also included in anu, anushilanam. ठीक है, so but it is to be mentioned that anu also exclaim accompaniment and inferiority, like the prefix upa, anubhav, like this. The prefix anu is used in this verse with the verb root sheel to convey perpetually and ardently endeavoring. In other words, the ardent endeavors, sheelanam, discussed in the definition of Uttam Bhakti must be perpetual and without abstraction. Furthermore, such perpetual, ardent, and endeavors must be exclusively for Sri Krishna. When Anushilanam is both its features, namely active efforts and emotional state of being, is meant exclusively for Sri Krishna, then it is a part of Bhakti, hence Krishna Anushilanam. Flawed definitions. Pleasing active engagements exclusively meant for Shri Krishna is indeed bhakti. It stands to reasons that perpetual ardent endeavor, yani ke anushilanam, must be immediately pleasing to the person it is meant for. Thus, it would seems we have discovered the definition of bhakti in the term Krishna Anushilanam itself. The definition presently under the discussion is perpetual ardent endeavor meant exclusively for Krishna, along with the implication that such perpetual ardent endeavor must immediately gratify the person it is meant for. Anyways, however, the symptom of bhakti is tainted by two flaws, दो दोष है इसमें. In some respect, it extends to include too much ativyapi dosha, Ati dosha. And other respects, it does not extend far enough. Avyapi dosha. Those symptoms that are not tainted by the fault of under extensions, avyapi, overextension, ativyapi, or inconsistency are the correctly derived symptoms of bhakti. If the bhakti were defined solely as Krishnanushilanam, any perpetual ardent endeavor meant exclusively for Shri Krishna or to please Shri Krishna, then, as we will see, it would serve to establish even spiteful demons like Kamsa's most fearsome wrestlers, Chanura, Moshtika, as devotees. Herein, the symptoms of bhakti have extended to include too much. In other words, Ativyapi Doshava has arisen. When Krishna heard the challenging words of Chanur and Mushtika, upon entering Kansa's royal wrestling arena, the joy of heroism, Veer Rasa, surged within him. Whenever a warrior receives blows from his opponent, he is thrilled. Thus, when Krishna received repeated blows from Chanur and Moshika, who perpetually endeavored to attack him, he naturally experienced the happiness that arises from heroism. Should one then deem Chanur and Moshtika to be bhaktas? Since their endeavors were meant for Sri Krishna's undoing and not at all for his enjoyment, no one will ever conclude that they were the bhaktas or they are the bhaktas. One time a devotee told me, Prabhu, Ravan got delivered. Huh? And Ravan's brother got delivered. Kamsa. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh also got delivered. And Ravan and Kumbhakarna got delivered. Kamsa got delivered. You know, so then people who were anyone enemy had the enmity towards the Lord, they also got delivered. So why do we have to become his devotee? Why not to be inimical towards him? Because when we are so much inimical towards him, he will come and kill us and will attain his own abode. So he had a point, right? But we have to understand what pleases the Lord the most. That is the symptom of the bhakta, right? And we cannot forget the fact, we cannot deny the fact that Jay and Vijay had the capacity to fight with Krishna for his pleasure, and that's the reason, especially whenever we read how the fight was going between Hiranyaksh and the boar form of the Lord, Varahadev. It was so amazing. He was like bleeding from here and there. Despite all that, how he kills him was amazing. Anyways, so under the extension, conversely, defining bhakti simply as pleasing Shri Krishna would imply that someone who causes Krishna any displeasure at all is not a bhakta, that his actions are not expressions of bhakti. For example, once when the mother Yashoda was breastfeeding baby Krishna, the milk she had been heating began to boil over. At once she removed Sri Krishna from her lap, much to his displeasure, and ran to save the milk. Krishna was so enraged that biting his lips, he smashed a nearby clay pot that was full of yogurt. He was so intensely unhappy at being denied his mother's breast milk to his full satisfaction that he burst into tears. You know who was that milk? The acharyas they say the milk which Yashoda Maya was boiling was actually a devotee. And he saw the size of the breast of Mother Yashoda as like equivalent to the Shir Sagara. He thought, oh, so the Lord, his thirst, his hunger, everything will get satisfied by getting milk from Yashoda's breast. What is the use of my body now? What's the use of me being a milk now? So let me commit suicide. And he started boiling out and going in the fire to burn himself. And Yashoda Maya, who is a pure devotee of the Lord, understood his vow and immediately ran to save him. And she left Krishna behind. So they've compared Yashoda Maya. Uh, sorry, sorry. So Krishna. So she left Krishna. So the acharyas they represent Yashoda Maya as a guru. Okay, then sometimes guru they leave Krishna. Why they leave Krishna? To protect the devotees of the Lord. So the Lord devotees can serve Krishna later. So Prabhupada did. He was being on the lap of Vrindavan Dham, serving Krishna very closely, and he left Vrindavan. He left Krishna externally to protect the fallen souls like us, right? And then why? So that we all can be engaged in the service of Krishna. Such an amazing description given by our acharyas. So when Mother Yashoda denied Sri Krishna full satisfaction, he was not even slightly pleased with her. Hence, in this case, defining bhakti as Krishnanusheelana alone prevents the definition from extending to include these actions. In other words, avyapi dosha has arisen. Mother Yashoda is the presiding goddess of immaculate prema bhakti in Vatsalya. Her every endeavor is for the sake of serving Shri Krishna. In this pastime, she had thought to herself, same thing, my breast milk alone will not fully nurture Shri Krishna, but the milk on the stove, which is now boiling over, will protect his life. Although Mother Yashoda was the queen of Vraja and was always surrounded by unlimited servants and maids, she would personally milk the best cows and heat their excellent milk. Then, when her own hands, and with her own hands, she would prepare the finest butter for Krishna. Even if I displease Krishna for the time being, she had thought, I must save this milk for him. Thoughts like this would cause her prem bhakti to swell to the exceptional height and thereafter permeate all of her actions. Her actions can never be anything but bhakti. Genuine kindness to him. The word anukulyena prevents the faults of underextension, avyapi dosha, and overextension, ativyapi dosha, from tainting the definition of bhakti. In the instrumental case, the adjective anukulam becomes anukulyena by means of kindness. If someone aspires to perform Krishnanushilanam, perpetual ardent endeavors means exclusively for Shri Krishna, then he must first become Anukul, genuinely kind to him. It must be his sole ambition to please and satisfy Shri Krishna, and he must completely expel even the slightest trace of hostility, pratikulata from his heart. Even if someone's Krishnanushilanam temporarily seems to be entirely favorable for Krishna, if it is not utterly devoid of any underlying adversity and any craving for personal gratification, then it is not bhakti. Although his endeavors may momentarily please his worshipful Lord, if he harbors any personal, selfish, ulterior motives or any motivation besides pleasing the Lord, he will fail to procure the actual fruit of bhakti, namely superlative love of Godhead, prema. Instead, the result he obtains will simply correspond to his underlying motivation. Pleasing Sri Gurudeva gives me life. Many of the disciples of our Srila Gurudev, Jagat Guru Parama Radhyatma, Srila Bhakti, Srila Prabhupada, gave their bodies, minds, words, and wealth to assist in fulfilling his heart's deepest ambitions. Although he was immensely pleased by their services or anushilana, if it is seen that some of them, even after serving him in this way, for so many years were willing to abandon him, their own guru, and that other have developed Guru Bhoga, the propensity to exploit him. That is, instead of striving to imbibe the ideal and character of our Sri Guru Pada Padma, who was perpetually wrapped in the bhajan. They have simply imitated his external activities and audaciously costume themselves as Guru. Not even the first stage of bhakti has manifested in their heart. If we contemplate the cause for this, we find that as they served him, they failed to maintain their attitude. Srila Prabhupada will be pleased by accepting my service, and pleasing him gives me life. Since they served him with many other motives and not exclusively with the hope of pleasing him, they were cheated out of obtaining the principal fruits of serving a sadhu and have instead attained whatever they secretly desired. So this is also mentioned in this book. What do you call Madhurya Kadambini? While you're serving the Lordship very nicely, and then you're desiring even to serve Him in your way, and if those desires are getting fulfilled, that is not that your spiritual desire is getting fulfilled. It simply means that you're jacked. So, matlab, it simply means that these are the upashakha of bhakti. They will again divert you towards something. Oh, I wish I become a temple president. If I become a temple president, I will distribute Bhagavad Gita this much, and I will, have 3 times prasadam for the devotees. I'll have this, I'll have that. Immediately Krishna had fulfilled the desire. So whatever desires are getting fulfilled, just remember that it's nothing. It just can be like, your fruitive desires which is there in your heart. Then how to desire for Krishna? That is another question. And that's exactly is called Uttama Bhakti. How to desire for Krishna. Best way to desire for Krishna is that we should be leaving everything in the hands of Krishna. That Krishna, see, I'm putting the efforts. I don't know what would be the results. You decide what you want. If someone's purpose is genuine, then as bhakti appears in his heart, all its symptoms which are mentioned in the scriptures will manifest in him, and all hankerings and aspiration opposed to bhakti will gradually diminish. Symptoms identical with bhakti. In our investigation thus far, as we have seen that the use of the noun anushilanam, perpetual ardent endeavors, is far from meaningless. Surely, therefore, we cannot assume that the objective anukulya can sufficiently define bhakti on its own. As we have seen on the ones, we have seen on the one hand, perpetual ardent endeavors when exclusively for Sri Krishna doesn't qualify it as bhakti if it is not free from hostility, and on the other hand, even if once Krishnanushilanam displeases Sri Krishna, if it is devoid of hostility, it may rightfully be called bhakti. Hence, while simply pleasing Sri Krishna may not always be bhakti, Krishnanushilanam that is devoid of hostility certainly is bhakti. So, Charana or Mushtika, although they are pleasing the Lord, are not the bhakt. But Yashoda Maiya, who is displeasing the Lord, is the pure devotee of Prema Bhakti. The personified deity of Prema Bhakti of Vatsalya Prema. Furthermore, without consideration of the active efforts and emotional state of being involved in Anushilanam, the mere absence of hostility will not be bhakti. For example, pots and other inert objects harbor no hostility towards Sri Krishna, but due to their insentience, they cannot make any active efforts for Shri Krishna's nor express any emotion to him or for him. Therefore, the two terms anukulyena Krishnanushilanam together verily express the intrinsic symptoms of bhakti. It has been stated in scriptures, tad abhinatve sati tad bodhatvan surupa lakshanam. that which remains identical with an object while causing comprehension of it to arise is called the object of Swarup Lakshana. The joint term Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam, the extraordinary nature of the perpetual ardent endeavor meant exclusively for Sri Krishna and endowed with the characteristics of kindness to him. Anukulya allows one to comprehend the meaning of Krishna Bhakti. At the same time, Anukulena Krishnanushilanam is truly identical with the Krishna Bhakti itself. Hence, Anukulena Krishnanushilanam is the Swarupa Lakshan of Krishna Bhakti. जरा हेवी तो नहीं हो गया?
No, Prabhu, it's good.
Yeah. So we'll stop here today. And we are on the 40th page. Tomorrow we'll start from symptoms distinct from bhakti. Okay, that is another very important topic to discuss. Any comment anybody wants to make?
No, Prabhu, it's fantastic. Like came to know that despite Chanur and Mustik were their results oriented towards were not towards pleasing the Lord, but the Lord was pleased. Still, it's not devotion compared to the Yashoda Mai.
Yeah,
So that's a very thoughtful.
yes, exactly. This is very important and this is very difficult to understand. You know, sometimes, like, to have the proper understanding of any tattva or any siddhant is very essential. I was just explaining, some of the students which you're seeing here, Chitra Dasi or Manav or Kalpatru Prabhu, and this Kanavati Mataji, they were all my DT worship seminar students, and they all know about Suchi, Muchi, Bhoga, Prashadi, and Amaniya. There's a terminology which you use here. What is Suchi? What is Muchi? What is Bhog? What is Prashad? We say, I'm making Prashad for the Lord. If you're making Prashad for the Lord, it cannot be offered to the Lord. That's what we call the consciousness. The consciousness matters a lot in the entire process of Krishna consciousness. It's a game of consciousness. You know, today one devotee came to me and he said, Prabhu, I'm just going to start the blogging system today onwards. I'm going to start teaching people about bhakti. I said, oh wow, Uttam Bhakti, Madhyam Bhakti, Kanishka Bhakti, what kind of Bhakti? Well, I'm going to teach people first of all the basic of Bhakti. Now, what is the basic of Bhakti? Say how to pay obeisances to the Lord. Well, oh, very good. Can you tell me how to pay obeisances to the Lord? No, whenever we are paying obeisances to the Lord, we should be like, lying down completely, and the Lord should be on our left hand, and then we should be looking at the Lord, and then chanting the Pranam mantra. So, okay. The women, they should never do that. Well, okay, what they should be doing? They should always do Panchang Pranam. Then I asked him, what is the reason? So, matlab, what is the reason? He said, they say that women should always have Panchang Pranam. Then I told him, what is the reason behind it? Women, when the breast is touching the Mother Earth, pressing of breast gives some kind of pleasure to the mind. So that's the reason to protect the woman from that kind of pleasure. It is mentioned that they should be always doing Panchang Pranam. So their breast is not touching the Mother Earth. And although we do the Shashtang Pranam, it is wrong if we are wearing kurta. If you have any upavastra on yourself, yani कि if you have kurta or bagalbandi, jacket or whatever, then you're not supposed to pay the Dhanur Pranam. Then you should be doing Panchang Pranam also. If you have a uttari or if you have nothing on the top of your, on your chest and all, then you can do easily the Shashtang Pranam. It is mentioned in scriptures. Otherwise, the person become pony or what do you call leprosy he gets in the next birth. So when we are paying obeisances, we should be also careful, just like the women, they are not supposed to touch their breast to Mother Earth. We are not supposed to touch our genitals to Mother Earth. So that's the reason, the concept of kopin was there for the sannyasi, and the concept of langot was there for the brahmacharis, or vanaprastha, or gresta. They were not supposed to have kopin. Kopin to we today wear just because it's very cheap to wear kopin. But anyways, for the seva you can wear kopin, but it should be always langot. And the idea behind having the langot is this only, that your genitals are nicely been tight. So it is not, they are not touching Mother Earth. Otherwise, I've seen so many sadhus, they are doing the pranam, well, they have only utri on the top and the dhoti down. When they are paying obeisances, they are a little bit tilted. So their genitals cannot touch Mother Earth. And whenever they're paying obeisances, now the platform are like 4 feet high, 2 feet, 3 feet high. Earlier the temple used to be down. So then they used to pay obeisances. And when they are paying obeisances, they were used to look at the Lord and they used to chant the Pranam mantra. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Deenabandhu Jagatpade, Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute, Tapta Kanjan Gorangi, Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Vishwabhanusade Devi, Paramami Haripriya. So this is what exactly the way you pay obeisances. So in bhakti, we try to tell people, try to teach people so many things without understanding the basic. How many of you knew how to pay obeisances before?
Yes, Prabhu. I didn't know about to what you said that we cannot pay the full obeisances why we have kurta. So apart
Yeah,
from that, I knew.
you knew?
No, yes, like not fully that as you described, but like a basic one, like for male and for female, but not the detailed reasons behind it. No
Yes.
problem.
And apart from this, there's another aspect to it, Prabhu, that we have Harinam Chadar on the top. Like the gurus, they are giving diksha nowadays to their disciples. Your name is such and such Das. And he's wearing a Harinam Chadar. And immediately Harinam Chadar goes in the lotus feet of the Guru. Guru does Namaprad for himself, and Guru does Namaprad for his disciples also. Why? Because paying obeisances while you're wearing Harinam, you cannot be greater than Harinam, right? So Harinam Chadar should not be there. The concept of Harinam Chadar is also wrong. It's like, nothing. It's just like merely creates the offenses for the Guru. Anyways, there's a lot more to share, there's a lot more to tell. We'll gradually get to learn all these things. Whatever discussion we had, we pray to Radhesham Vanatai, Krishna Balaram, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Koti Vaishnava to give us the blessing. So we can always remain situated in our Sarup as a servant of Krishna, worship the divine couple with our mind, body, and words, and attain the goal of life. That is
Radha Dasyam.
exactly. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभवेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः